On our adventures, we've gotten to see some of the most iconic and venomous animals the Sonoran Desert has to offer. But today, we're going after a spider that you might not have even realized lives in the desert, and that's the black widow. But Zach, you've already filmed black widows. Nope, these ones are slightly different. Alright, hear me out, y'all. Here in South Arizona, the western black widow is one of the most common spider species around. So me and the crew are heading out to the mountain crags, jagged environment where these widows like to make their nests. These are a very common species out here. You'll see them virtually everywhere, and they have all this little fluffy web lined along these rock faces. Absolutely a dime a dozen out here, but it's really crazy. You've just got these big rock walls, these big ledges. Not necessarily what I'm used to seeing them in. I'm used to seeing them on farmland and barns and houses and stuff. That's what most people in the southeast United States think when they think of black widow. They think of something that lives in their attic. Out west, you think about something that lives in the crags. We're gonna keep looking, see if we can get one. Now normally you wouldn't think of a black widow as fast, but that is exactly what a western widow is. This feels so risky no matter how I try to grab it. No, I shouldn't have done that. I should have just grabbed it. Ah! While they may seem exposed on these rock walls, they are incredibly quick to dart back into a hole.
That's like, what, 2 lost in less than 5 minutes?
Fine, no, we'll get it. We spent hours, genuine hours, trying to catch these little spiders, and we just kept missing them. And that's exactly what she did. I saw that little hole, but...
Bro, I didn't even get B-roll.
No, it's fine, hang on. Y'all are giving up too quick. Okay, now we can give up. After a few failed attempts, it was time for our fellow spider hunter Spencer to give it a try.
We have eyes on a widow. Now, of course, I've filmed black widows before, but this one is special because it's a species I have not seen before.
And that spider is gone. Meanwhile, delirium is definitely setting in for Ben. Check this out. It's a metachristic pegmatite with mica, and that's actually rutile, which is a pretty rare titanium oxide mineral.
Oh my, what is he saying?
Spider after spider, they just kept getting away from us. But eventually, I figured out the technique to block them from getting away. We found one more spider, and it worked like a charm. Are you ready? I know the technique now, at least. You ready? Perfect catch there. That is an adult western widow. I can put them right back into that rock face with all that webbing and be perfectly fine afterwards, even with the nest being pulled out. Like, that's really the only good way to catch them. Ooh, don't bite me. Now, I'm not too concerned with these spiders. They're not very aggressive species, but don't go and try this. They are a medically significant bite, not something you want to be taking, but they're pretty small, and they're not aggressive. Oh, look at you, solid black. Looks pretty similar to the ones back home, a little bit lankier. I think that's just because of the environment. Drier, probably gets a little bit less food. These things are fast. They're so much faster than the widows back home. The black widow spiders are a notorious species. Everybody's, they consider them to be highly dangerous. And they're decently medically significant. This isn't a spider I want to get bit by. It'd actually ruin my week to get bit by one. I'd be sick, throwing up. It's called latro sickness, from latrotoxin, named after Latrodectus, widow spider. Definitely not something you want to get bit by. But overall, like I said, they're not aggressive. You can see I'm holding the spider. They only bite when you put pressure on them. So if he gets stuck in your shoe or anything like that, it's a problem. If I were to grab him, he'd probably bite me. But since I'm just letting him sit right like this, not a problem whatsoever. Now, they're virtually a dime a dozen out here, but my favorite thing about them is just that they're living in these rock walls, in these cliff sides, and it's just really cool to see. I'm so used to seeing these guys on farmland and barns and houses and stuff like that, because in most areas that's what they're doing now. They're living in urban areas and more rural areas. But out here, they're living in habitat, straight up habitat. Now, western widows, you're primarily going to see these guys in washes at night. They're mostly nocturnal out here, as they are across most of their range, and they're very secretive. They're going to stay in those cliffs during the day. They don't want to be out in the open, but they're coming out at night when they feel very, very safe. You can see, they've been evading us all night. They take off straight into that little burrow. They're very fast. The crags are a great place for spiders. We've seen just a bunch of different spider species this evening, but the black widow is the most notorious, so I figured we'd give this guy a great little feature. Big old western widow, I should say girl, because this is obviously going to be a female widow. As many of y'all know, widows are named widows because, well, they'll try to eat the male after mating. The males are really tiny. We've seen a few of them tonight. They're just a little tiny, patterned, widow-shaped spider. You can see them sometimes in the webs with the female, but they're really tiny. They're not that typical black widow look. They're not that solid black with that red hourglass. What a great spider out here in the crags. If you guys did enjoy seeing this video, make sure to check out the time we found the red widow spider over in Central Florida, a much rare and much more unique widow species. And I will see you guys next time. All right, time to get this girl back into the rocks. All right, see you, little fella. Back on your rock face. Get out of here, you.